Hello everyone, my name is Damian. In this video, I will be going through the extensive practice questions from the Form 5 Chapter 1. So as I'm going through the questions, I will also explain to you some of the details, some of the basics about the chapters, some of the things you need to know, and also any tips and tricks I may have for you. Okay. So let's look at the questions. Okay. So if you look at question 1 here, write the variation relation for each of the following. So if you want to express your variation relation, the symbol that we usually use is this one, okay, which represents varying directly with. Okay, so if it's directly proportional, means W varies directly with your X. Directly proportional and varying directly is basically the same. Okay, so varying directly is very direct. It's just that unknown, this symbol, to the other value, to the other unknown, okay, to the other variable. If it varies inversely, what does inversely means? It will be the opposite. So when one value increase, the other value decrease. Directly proportional or varying directly means one increase, the other one increases. Okay, at a constant rate. If it varies inversely, means one increase, the other one decrease. So to show that the other value is decreasing, we basically use, let's say if I say X varies inversely as Y. Inversely. Then I will use X varies inversely is the same as varying directly with 1 over that variable. Okay, so varying directly as B, varying inversely as C, cube of C. So we have to cube it as well. This one also we have to cube. Yeah, miss that out. There's a cube here. So make sure you do all the power that is stated inside. Okay, cube of X, so we have to cube inside. Here, just B, inversely a cube of C. So the C I have to cube. Yeah. But this one, instead of leaving it two separated, I can combine them together into one. Means the one that is directly goes on top, the one that is inversely at the bottom of fraction. So for part B, it will end up like this: A varying with B over C cube. For this one, to just write the variation, you can straight away give the answer. It's a very direct question. Okay. Yeah, there's no working needed for this. Yeah, all this I'm just showing you how it works. For part C, P varies directly as Q and the square root of R. So both directly means both on top. So nothing at the bottom of fraction, so we don't need to put a fraction. Just put P varies directly as Q, so put Q, and square root of R. So I have to square root the R. Just like that. That's part C. And then part D, distance traveled S meters by a bicycle varies directly as its acceleration A and the square of the time taken. So both directly again. Means the S varies directly as A and the square of the time taken, means T square. Yeah, just like that. Okay, so they can directly just state what varies with what. Or they can put it in a sentence like this. It's basically the same thing. Yeah, just pay attention to what are the variables that they use, S, A, and T here. Okay. So that's question 1. Question 2, the diagram on the right shows the graph of y against 1 over cube root of x. Write the relation between y and cube root of x by using this symbol. So it's basically similar to this. Okay. If it varies directly with 1 over cube root of x, means it varies inversely with cube root of x. So I can just put, like just now, y varies with 1 over cube root of x. Very straightforward question as well. So write all this in sentences. Okay, put in sentences, very simple. Basically, that means varies directly. So I can say y varies directly. Okay, you follow how they write here as what? What varies directly as what and what? Okay, so in this case, y varies directly as x and z. Very straightforward. Part B, E varies, this one, 1 over, means varies inversely. E varies inversely. So whenever it's 1 over, means it's the inverse. Okay, inverse means power -1. Yeah. So it's like x, inverse of x means x to the power -1, which is 1 over x. That's why we take 1 over. Okay. That's the principle of inverse. Yeah, it's the opposite, basically. Instead of times f, then it's divide by f. So varies inversely as f. That's B. And for C, son, P varies directly as this one on top. There's a cube root, so I use cube root of Q. And the R is on the bottom, so inversely. And inversely as R. Yeah. That's part C. And then part D. N varies. These two on top, so directly as P and Q square, so square of Q. Square of Q and inversely as square root of R. That's for part D. Right. So yeah, make sure you don't confuse between square, square root, cube, and cube root. That is also a very common mistake. That's also a very common mistake that a lot of students make. Okay, cube root, square, and square root. Square is like this. Root means root like that. Okay, make sure you don't confuse between your normal power and the root. Okay. Yeah. Then we look at question 4 here. State whether each of the following has a relation of y varies directly as x. Now, if I have something varies directly as something, okay, if I have y varies directly as x, Okay. Basically, it means I can form the equation y equals to something x. This must be a constant. So that constant can be a decimal number, can be a fraction, can even be a negative. Wait, can it be negative? No, it shouldn't be negative, actually. Sorry. Yeah. For variation in this chapter, in variation chapter, we don't really do negative. Yeah, because variation we usually relate between quantities. So quantity cannot be negative. Okay. For example, like measurement of distance. Distance, no way it's going to be negative distance. Doesn't make sense. Yeah. Okay. So variation we deal with basically scalar quantities. So we do not want to deal with negative. Okay. Yeah. So as long as we can put your equation as y equals to something x, a number times x, then that will mean that it has a relation of y varies directly as x. So like this one, x minus y equals 0. Okay, bring over the y, minus opposite is plus. So x equals to y means y equals to x. Yeah, y equals to 1x means, yeah, it varies directly. Sun varies directly for part A. For part B, if I bring over the 3 plus opposite is minus, so it's not just times x, there's a minus also. So this one, yeah, no. This one does not. Vary directly. This one, if I bring over the x, y means x times y. Times opposite is divide. So it becomes 10 divided by y. Sorry, 10 divided by x. Okay, bring over the x times opposite is divide. So 10 over x, this is not very directly. This is varying inversely. So also does not vary directly. This one, x over y equals 0.5. Yeah, 0.5 means 1 over 2. Okay. So if I bring over the y, means half y. Bring over the 2, 2 times x. Y equals 2x. Divide opposite times. So y equals to a number times x means this one varies directly. Yeah. So yes, no, no, yes. Okay, that is question 4 here. And question 5, calculate the constant k for each of the following. Yeah. So like I said just now, if it varies directly, means I can put it as an equation, y equals to kx. So this k will be a constant. Yeah, k will always be a constant. So if we know how it varies, we want to find the relation. We have to find the k first. Yeah, based on the equation. So how do we find k? Basically, they will give you the value of your two variables. When one is what, the other will be what. Okay. So like here, if when L is 16.384, M will be 3.2. Okay. So from that, by putting in the values of your L and M, I can figure out what my K value will be, the constant. Okay, but we don't always use K because sometimes in the question itself, maybe something else already they will be using K. Then we use another letter to represent. We can use like maybe lambda or yeah, or another, or even m, yeah, is fine. Okay, but usually we use k lah. Lambda, because lambda also is usually used to represent scale. That's why I can also use lambda. Okay, but it's okay to use other letters as well. Just that make sure it doesn't conflict with any other variable inside. So part A, L varies directly as the cube of m, means L equals to k times cube of m, means m cube. So to find k, okay, basically just substitute the values of L and m. 16.384 equals k times 3.2 cube. So I want to get rid of this. I just want k. So this one times opposite divide. So bring over, becomes 16.34 divide 3.2 cube equals to k. So k would be, yeah, use your calculator, 16.384 divided by bracket 3.2 cube. It becomes 1/2. Yeah, if you put 0.5 also it's okay. You can put fraction, you can put decimal, it's okay. Yeah. But if it's not a rounded number, like 1/3, then don't put decimal. Okay, we don't want to round off anything. So make sure it's a exact value whenever it's possible. So part B, yeah, that's the value of k for part A. Part B, h varies directly as a and square of b. H equals to k times a and square of b. Square means power 2, b to power 2. Yeah. Again, I want to find k. Substitute three values, your h, a, and b. 96 equals to k times 18 times 4 square. Yeah. You can straight away bring over, or you can calculate this first. Yeah, that's not the important part. Let's say I straight away bring over. Times opposite divide. So divide 18 and 4 square. It equals to k. So k will be, so make sure if you put at that, when you key into calculator, okay, basically this whole bottom part we have to bracket. Means if I key in straight, if you're using MS version, if you're using this ES version or EX version calculator, there's no issue because the fraction button will clearly split what is on top, what is below. Okay. But if you're using MS version, it will only show like this. So you have to bracket to contain everything on top and everything below. Okay. If not, it will just separate. If you write 96 over 18 times 4 square, that would be wrong. You have to bracket this one. Okay. Basically like that. 96 divide bracket 18 times 4 square. Okay. But if you're using fraction, then you can key in exactly like this. So it's 1/3. Yeah. Okay. K value is 1/3. Then part C. P varies directly as Q square and R. P varies directly means equals to K times Q square and R. So Q square R on top. And then inversely means that would be at the bottom as cube root of S. So cube root S. Yeah, like this. So again, I want to find k. So I substitute the p, q, and r value here into the equation. P is 17.01, okay, equals to k times q square. Q is 4.5, 4.5 square. And then R is 9 over cube root of S. S is 3375. Yeah. Okay. Actually, this one, it will be easier to actually simplify this fraction first. Okay, let's simplify the fraction here. 4.5 square times 9 divided by cube root. Make sure you don't confuse cube root and square root also. That is also quite a common mistake. Yeah, cube root has a 3. Is shift and then square root button. Yeah, so you can put decimal, you can put fraction, up to you. Let's say I put decimal times 12.15. So times opposite is divide. 17.01 divided 12.15 equals to the k. So k is 17.01 divided 12.15. I get 1.4. 1.4. Again, if you put 7/5 also is fine. Fraction also okay. Okay, so that is question 5. Then question 6 is given m varies inversely as n and p. So if m is 6, n is 0.4, and p is 5, write an equation that relates mn and p. So basically, we have to find the k value. Okay, we know our equation would be m varies inversely, means equals to k times 1 over n and p. So np, like that. So I just need to find the k. Okay, so using the m, n, and p value given, substitute inside. 6 equals k times 1 over 0.4 times 5. Yeah. So divide opposite is times, means it's 6 times 0.4 times 5 equals to k. K will be 6 times 0.4 times 5. I get 12. Yeah. Put back into the equation. So k times this means k will multiply the 1. So it's 1. So it's k over np, means is k is 12. So m is 12 over np. Yeah, it's just like that. That's the equation. So yeah, it's a very common thing that they would always ask you to do. Okay, and usually after forming the equation, there will be another part where they we give you a value of mp, and then find n, or np find m, like that. Yeah. Just like the next question. Yeah, basically something like this. Okay, so here they give you f varies with g squared h. They give you f, g, and h value. Okay, using that, I find k. So I know f equals to k g squared h according to how they vary. So I want to find value of g when f is 5.88 and h is 10. Okay, after I find k, I substitute these two values to find the g. So let's try the first part here. Substitute inside F is 24, K remains, G is 4, so 4 square, H is 5, so 5. Yeah. Okay, so let's say I times first. 4 square times 5. Okay, let's calculate. 4 square times 5, get 80. So 80K times opposite divide. 24 divided by 80 is K, so K will be 24 divided 80 is 0.3. Yeah. Okay, so I know F is 0.3 G square H. So I want to find G when F is this and H is this. Again, substitute inside. 5.88 equals 0.3 times G squared times 10. 0.3 times 10 would be 3. Okay, times opposite divide. 5.88 divided 3 is G squared. This one, 5.88 divided by 3 would be 5.88 divided 3. 1.96. Yeah. 1.96 is G square. Bring over the square. Opposite of square would be square root. Square root of 1.96 is G, so G would be square root of 1.96, which is 1.4. Yeah. Okay, G is 1.4. That is question 7. Right? Then question 8. The table on the right shows the changes in 3 quantities. It is given that y varies directly as x and inversely as square root of z. Okay, so try to write out the equation first. Y varies directly as x means equals to k times x, and inversely means over square root of z. Square root z. That's the equation. So I want to find m and n. So always start with the one where all 3 values are numbers. Okay, yeah, so that we can find the k. So we start with these 3. So y is 4 because k times x, x is 0.3 over square root of z, z is 3.24. Right? Yeah. So I can straight away get the fraction over, or I can simplify this first. Up to you. Okay. Let's say I bring over fraction. Opposite is flipping the fraction around because divide becomes times, times becomes divide. So 4 times square root of 3.24 over 0.3 equals to k. Flip the fraction around. Divide becomes times, times becomes divide. So k will be 4 times square root of 3.24 divided by 0.3. So it's 24. K is 24. Huh? So my equation, y equals 24x over square root of z. So to find m, I substitute these 3 values, m, 6, and 225. So m equals 24 times x is 6 over square root of z, z is 225. Straight away I can calculate. 24 times 6 divide square root of 225, which will be 9.6. Yeah. Then to find n, substitute these 3 values down. Okay. So y is 51 equals 24x x is 1.7 over square root of n. Square root of z, which is n. So I need to find n. So I don't want it at the bottom of the fraction. Bring it up. The 51, on the other hand, I can bring it down. Okay, times becomes divide, divide becomes times. Square root of n equals 24 times 1.7 over 51. Yeah, let's count this. 24 times 1.7 divided by 51. I get 0.8. Square root opposite is square. So I square the 0.8, 0.64. Yeah. So n value is 0.64. That is question 8. Okay, the value of m and n. Okay, so to find missing unknowns from your variable, given the other two values, first we always have to form the equation. Yeah. Okay. So the basis of this chapter is basically to always form the equation, form this equation that relates between your variables, and using that equation that you form. Right. Now let's look at the challenge questions. Question 9. P varies inversely as Q. Okay. P varies inversely as Q, and Q equals to 3R minus 2. Express P in terms of Q. So basically, P varies inversely as Q means P equals to constant times 1 over Q. Means constant over Q. K over Q. Right? So to express P in terms of Q, I need to find K. So I'm given P is 0.02 when R is 4. And also Q is 3R minus 2. Yeah. Means when P is 0.02, Q will be 3 times R. R given is 4 minus 2. Yeah. 12 minus 2 is 10. Means when P is 0.02, Q is 10. So using that, using these two values, I substitute inside to find K. So 0.02 equals K over 10. Divide, opposites times. So 0.02 times 10 equals K. K will be 0.2. Yeah, means P equals to 0.2 over Q. Okay, if you put in fraction, then it's 1 over 5. Okay. If 1 over 5 means I can also put 1 over 5 cubed. Okay, that would be correct as well. This and this are both correct answers. Yeah, they actually represent the same value. Okay. And it doesn't really matter which form you put it in. Yeah. But more commonly we tend to avoid decimal in fractions. Yeah. But it's okay. Okay, it's still a correct value. Now part B, calculate the value of R when P is 5. So using the equation that I found, let's say I use this one. Okay, I just substitute P equals to 5. So 5 equals 1 over 5 cubed. Bring up the 5, divide 5, opposite is times 5. Okay, equals 1 over cube. You which is 25. So 1 over Q is 25, means Q is 1 over 25. Bring this up, bring the 25 down. But this is not the final answer. I want to find R, not Q. So using this Q, I find R by substituting into this equation. So 1 over 25 equals 3R minus 2. 1 over 25 plus 2 equals to 3R. Okay. 1 over 25 plus 2 is 2.04. Okay. Bring over the 3 times 3 opposite divide 3. So R is, I divide 3, 0.68. Yeah. So R is 0.68 when P is 5. Okay, so that is question 9 here. Then we continue. Question 10. Electric current I, ampere, varies directly as the power P and inversely as the voltage V for an electrical appliance. So it's given that a hair dryer with 550 watts of power and 240 volts of voltage uses an electric current of 2.2 ampere. So calculate the electric current used by a fan with 75 watts of power and 240 volts of voltage. Okay. So again, we look at it part by part. Electric current I, so it starts with I, varies directly, means equals to constant times the power P on top, and inversely means that will go below as the voltage V below for an electrical appliance. Yeah. Okay, so it's given hairdryer with 550 watts, means P is 550. Okay. And 240 volts, V is 240, and current 2.2 ampere. So I 2.2. Okay. We want to find electrical current used by a fan with 75 watts of power, means P 75. 240 volts of voltage, V 240. So this is what I want to find. Find I, basically. Okay, when this one I can use to find the K. Right? Substitute the values in. 2.2 equals K times 550 over 240. Okay, just bring over the fraction. Opposite, flip the fraction around. Divide becomes times, times becomes divide. Equals to K. So K would be 2.2 times 240 divide 550. So it's 0.96. Okay. If you don't want to put fraction, you can put this. If you don't want to put decimal, you can put fraction like this as well. 24 over 25. Okay, up to you. Let's say I put fraction. Okay. Then I have I equals to 24P over 25V. Okay, 24 over 25 times P over V means 24P, 25V. So I want to find I when P is this and V is this. So just substitute inside. Okay, substitute these two values. Then I would be equals to 24 times 75 over 25 times 240. So I can straight away calculate. Yeah. Again, if you use this calculator or the EX version, you can put fraction. But if you are using MS version, make sure you bracket the top and bottom. Bracket 24 times 75 divide bracket 25 times 240. That is okay. So you get 0.3 ampere. That will be the current. Okay, that is for question 10 here. So you see the basis of what I'm doing is the same thing. Okay, I find the equation, find the K value, form the equation, okay, and then substitute the values to find the missing one, the missing variable. Okay. Yeah. So if you look at question 11 here, area of the curved surface A cm square of a cone varies directly as the radius of its base, r cm, and the slant height s. Okay. So again, area is varies directly, so means k times radius of the base and the slant height. So just rs. Okay, so it's given A is this when R is this and S is this. Okay, so first I need to form the equation. So I need to find K. Substitute these three values. 88 equals K times 3.5 times 8. Okay, let's add times this first. 3.5 times 8. Get 28. So 88 equals 28K. 88 over 28 equals to K. Times opposite divide. K will be 88 divided 28. I will get 22 over 7. So in other words, my equation would be A equals 22 over 7 RS. So I want A when R is 5 and S is 8. So substitute these two values into the equation. A will be equals 22 over 7 times 5 times 8. 22 over 7 times 5 times 8. Sorry, my mistake. Not 8. 9.8. Yeah, times 9.8. So it's 154. 154. Unit follow back is on cm square. So here also cm square. Yeah, or you can look at this also. Cm times cm, cm square. Okay, that's part A. Part B, what is the change in the area of the curved surface if the slant height decreases and the base radius is fixed? Yeah. So it varies directly. Okay, it varies directly for your area compared to your slant height. Yeah. So if the radius doesn't change, so if it doesn't change, we take it like being a constant. Okay. So if it's a constant times this, when this increase, the other value also increase. When the slant height decrease, the area should also decrease because it varies directly. If it's inversely, then it's the opposite way. Okay, if it's inversely, then it's the opposite way. So yeah, area decreases. Yeah. Okay, so you have to know how they will relate. Right. And then question 12. It's given y varies directly as x and inversely as w. Y varies directly as x means y equals to kx, and inversely means over w. Okay, inversely as w, so over w. If y is 0.9, x is 18, w is 5, substitute inside, find the k. Okay. So y is 0.9 equals k times x, x is 18, w is 5. Okay, so just bring the fraction over, flip it around, times 5 over 18 equals k. So k would be 0.9 times 5 over 18, which is 1 over 4. Okay, you can also put 0.25. So the equation y equals x over 4w. Yeah, the 4 goes below. So I want w when y is 20 and x is 6. So I substitute these two values into the equation to find the w. Means 20 equals 6 over 4w. Okay, I can just bring the w up, divide become times. Yeah. Okay, times 20, opposite is divide 20. So 6 over 4 divided by 20. So 6 divided 4 divided 20, I get 3 over 40. Or if you put decimals, then 0.075. Yeah. Okay. That is part A. Part B. The percentage of change of y when x increases by 10% and w decreases by 20%. Percentage of change of y when x increases by 10% and w decreases by 20%. So what happens is see what happens is like this. Y equals to x over 4w, right? Okay. So I need to compare how it will change if I increase this by 10%. Increase by 10% means 1.1 times 1.1, okay, or times 110%. So if I times 110% here, I also times 110% here. Okay, it will change the same way because it varies directly. W decreases by 20% means this one I times 80%. It will become 80% of the original value. Yeah, but the W here is decrease, means it's the opposite. So on the other side, if I times below means divide by 80%. Yeah. Okay. So in other words, the y value, I have to take 110%, means 110 over 100, divide by 80%, 80 over 100. That's the percentage of change of y. Means 110 over 100 times 100 over 80. Yeah, divide by fraction is same as times, flip the fraction around. So it's 110 divided by 80, basically, which is 1.375. That would be the change, actually. It will be 1.375 times. So let's put percentage. Means I times by 100%. Okay, so times 100 means it becomes 137.5% of the original. Yeah, percentage for y means the percentage of change of y is 37.5% increase. Okay, so original is always 100%. That's why increase by 100% means it will become 110% of the original value. We cannot plus 10% because basically percentage you need to multiply to change the value of it. Okay, so increase by 10% means 110% of the original value. That's why I times the 110% here. Yeah. And it varies directly, means how it differs should change the same way. Okay, this one, the W, I have to times 80% because decrease by 20% means from 100% minus 20% becomes 80%. Yeah, but this one times means the other side I have to divide because it's the opposite. Or you look at it in another way. If you look at it in the equation, this is over. This is times on the bottom of the fraction. So here also I have times on the bottom of the fraction. Okay, that's why I take 110% divided by 80%. So end up you will get 100. Yeah, then because I want to keep it in percentage, that's why I times the 100% here. Okay, so it becomes 137.5% of the original y value. Original will be 100%, that's why it increased by 37.5%. Yeah. So you always replicate the change on both sides using multiplication. If this one times, the same thing. Okay, if it's inverse, then this one times, this one divide, and then this one times. Okay, that's how we show the change, the relation of your change. That is question 12 here. Yeah. So this part, the percentage part, is the slightly trickier part. Yeah, that requires more thinking. Okay. Now, let's look at question 13. Speed of a bicycle S varies directly. S varies directly equals to K times the number of revolutions per minute of the bicycle pedal P, and the number of front gear teeth D. and inversely as the number of back gear teeth over B. Yeah, inversely goes below, directly goes on top. Okay, so Santami rides a bicycle at a speed of 26.4 km per hour. Speed 26.4. Yeah. Bicycle pedal moves at 75 revolutions per minute. P 75. 40 front gear teeth. D 40. Okay. And 20 back gear teeth. B is 20. So describe the change in speed of Santami's bicycle if he pedals at 90 revolutions per minute. So the bicycle back gear teeth and front gear teeth should not change. What he changed is only the how much he pedals, so that will change the speed as well. Okay, so first we have to find K. Substitute these four values to find K first. 26.4 equals K times P is 75, D 40 over B. B is 20. Okay, I can just cut here 2. Means 150. Okay, let's calculate this one first. 150K, 26.4 times opposite divide, so divide 150. So K would be 26.4 divided by 150. 0.176. Yeah. Or if you want to put fraction, 22 over 125 also is fine. Yeah, let's say this time I put in fractions. So I know S equals 0.176 times your PD over B. Yeah. Okay. So in the second situation, again, the D should remain, the B should remain, because he did not change the gears of his bicycle. So what he changed is the revolutions per minute, so that will change the speed. So I want to find S. P is 90. Yeah. So S would be 0.176 times 90. D is 40 over B 20. Okay, so I just calculate 0.176 times 90 times 40 over 20. So it's 31.68. Yeah, follow back the unit here, km per hour. Yeah. Km per hour. That is question 13. Yeah. So you can see all the questions in this chapter more or less have the same same flow of working. Finding your K, forming the equation, subbing in the values. Okay. So it's very important for you to be familiar with each of these steps. Then you should be able to do any questions that come about this chapter. Because they either take one small part of it, or it will be the same flow of question. This will be the same flow of working. The only one that is slightly trickier is this one. How they relate. Yeah. If this increased by how much, this increased by how much, like that. So instead of percentage, they can also say like this one double, this one half. Yeah. Then what will happen to this value, like that? Okay. So you imagine what I do here. what will happen on the other side. Right, so basically these are the things you need to know for chapter 1 of Form 5 Maths. Right? Okay, so basically that will be it. Yeah, so here in 30D, okay, we are a tuition center. We are currently having online classes. We have e-learning classes. Our normal tuition classes also will be available both online and physical when physical classes are possible. And then we also do have a bunch of books, our notes and tutorial books. We have topical practice books, past year questions, drill practice, intensive revision books. Yeah, all for your perusal. Okay, so if you need more books to do your revisions, this will be very good materials for you to get. Yeah. So we are selling books on Shopee as well, so you can actually search for 30D in the Shopee website. Yeah, you can find our store and you can purchase books there if you would just like the books. Okay, you can follow our YouTube, like and subscribe if you think it's helpful for you. Yeah, you can look for more videos, yeah, on some of the tips and tricks for your revision perusal as well. Okay, if you would like to get any more details from us, okay, you can WhatsApp us on this number, yeah, or message us on any of the social media. It would be great if you could like and subscribe to our social media pages as well. Right, so that's all for me today. So I'll see you all in the next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.